Managing your money wisely and paying attention to your finances is crucial to your financial health and to your sanity. Our next guest is the author of The Joy of Financial Security, and we welcome Donna Skeels Cygan back here to Virginia this morning. Hi, Donna.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We're going to talk about money mistakes and, more importantly, offer people ways to fix those mistakes.
Yes.
If you had to choose the #1 mistake that most people make, what would it be?
You know, I think the most common mistake is that people neglect their finances. So we fall into different categories. Many people are still struggling since the 2008 financial crisis, and often those people don't know where to start, and so they're neglecting getting started on the right track. And we're going to talk about saving, which is the first step.
Okay.
And then you have other people who may be investing and they're saving and they're on the right track, but they're not really involved in their finances. Maybe they're outsourcing them to a financial advisor or a broker. And I encourage them to actually educate themselves, become more involved, and that other person that they're working with should be a partner in their investments.
It's amazing how many of us do turn over our information to a financial advisor and expect them to take care of everything when we really do need to be personally involved and kind of know what they're doing.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think that you should never really outsource it completely. You should be involved in making all of the decisions and knowing exactly what your asset allocation is and whether it's appropriate for your family and for your comfort level with risk.
Yeah, most people nowadays, if you're working, you have a 401k, and when they ask you to make the choices of where to put it, everybody just goes, I don't know, I'll just do what somebody else is doing or whatever looks good. But you have to do a little research in order to protect your money.
Yes, it's so important. We're all striving for financial security, and so we don't want to neglect our money. We want to be right on top of it. And it's not as complicated as some people would think. It can be pretty simple, but we need to educate ourselves and know what is appropriate for us and our goals and our time horizon.
One of the things that surprised me was that you say that we should strive to save 15 to 20% of our money. I mean, most people, they say they they don't have enough money to get them to the end of the month, much less save a little extra. How can we do that?
Well, the first step is to look at what you're saving right now. And I know that you're linking to my website, and on my website there is a chart so you can actually calculate how much are you saving right now as a percentage of your income. So many people often save through their retirement plan at work. Maybe they're saving through a 401k or 403b. You can figure out what percentage is that. And let's say it's 4 or 5%. And then you work to increase that to 15 to 20. And you're right, people think that that sounds almost impossible. But once you get started on savings and you make it automatic, so you have a little bit pulled out of your paycheck to go into a taxable account, you save above and beyond your retirement plan. And hopefully you're funding a Roth IRA. And when you get a tax refund, you save half of it. Those kinds of things can push you up to that 15 to 20%, and then you're definitely on the path to financial security.
Do you find that once people realize that they can live within their means, you can take that extra step and live a little bit below your means?
Yes, yes, I think that once somebody starts saving, it gets easier. Because they do realize they don't have that extra money to spend and they don't miss it. They start cutting back on expenses. One of the things that I am really passionate about is the pressure we feel to keep up with the Joneses. And it's so pervasive in our society. We see it through credit cards. It's so easy to whip out that credit card and put something on it and pay it off next month or maybe next year. And that's just so horrible for our society. So I encourage people to really think about, do you want more materialistic sorts of items? And from a psychology standpoint, we know that material things don't make us happy. What makes us happy are things like our relationships with our friends and family, nurturing our creativity, having a sense of purpose. Those things make us truly happy. And so I think the key is to manage our money wisely and spend it wisely so that we actually can maximize the happiness. And we become less focused on having more things in our life and that clutter that brings, and more focused on what really matters.
So it goes back to what we started talking about, is controlling your money and not letting it control you.
Yes. I just think that most people think money and happiness don't go together, but they do. If we spend that money wisely and we save it for the future, that kind of thing, it really does have a huge impact on our happiness.
And I guess the key thing too is, you talked about keeping up with the Joneses, is is not feeling the pressure or buckling to the pressure to do what everybody else is doing, but do what's best for you.
Yes, and I think it actually takes a very deliberate commitment, because otherwise it's a slippery slope and we all cave in, and our kids are exposed to it too at school. You know, they need the latest smartphone, and they need the gadgets, and we see our neighbor buy a new car and we think we need a new car. Well, we need to make a very deliberate commitment to say, my car is 6 years old, it's going to last at least 12. I don't need a new car. I don't need another, I don't need clothing for the next month. And so you start redirecting that money towards savings and investing, and you can also then talk to your kids about it, and you become this really wonderful role model, saying we're not caving into keeping up with the Joneses, we're living within our means, and that's great to pass those values down.
Some great ideas.